It is only April, but soon we will be in hurricane season here in South Florida. Last year, Hurricane Irma, a powerful storm, caused major evacuations here in our state and damage all along its path as well. The Now's Tanya Rogers today with how technology could improve knowing where a storm like this one could make landfall.
Hurricane season is still weeks away. This afternoon in Jupiter, a hot topic of conversation.
If it is more narrow, that it will also help people not have such a feeling of, where's it going to go? Is it going to go here?
Catherine Deal and her neighbors say they appreciate the changes the National Hurricane Center is making, shrinking the cone that indicates where forecasters believe a hurricane will land.
Narrowing it down could be a great thing because people might back off a little bit, may not be as scared. But when a big storm does come through and it really does take over, it might not be a good thing.
Storm Team 5 meteorologist Glenn Glazer told me newer technology is the reason the Hurricane Center is shrinking the cone.
Over the years, the cone has been able to get more and more narrow, especially from the 1 to 3 day period. They're going to be able to extend the discussions from just a 48-hour discussion on the intensity and direction of a storm to a 72-hour discussion, which gives obviously everybody more time to prepare.
But Glazer warned people should not put their guard down.
The good news here is they wouldn't narrow the cone if there wasn't this belief that we are getting more and more accurate with our forecasting. And regardless, everyone should be prepared if there is a storm, even in your general vicinity all the time, and watch the forecast carefully.
It minimizes so many people on the roads, like, trying to get out of here and all that stuff, because it makes it crazy for the people who really need to, leave, like the people in the more hurricane flooding zones and stuff like that, I think. But yeah, if it's accurate, then it'd be great.
Hurricane season begins June 1st. Tanya Rogers for the Now, South Florida.
And Steve Villanueva here. Yes, the National Weather Service has decided to improve on their cone track. That's because their forecasts are just getting better and better and better. Now, what they do is that they take the averages over the last 5 years, and 70% of the time, the forecast does in fact stay within the cone. So because of that, the cones are going to get a little bit tighter starting next year. It's something that they do every year, but again, because the forecasts are getting better, it's going to get a little tighter again this year. So this is the cone and what they usually look like, but because the forecasts are getting a little bit better each and every year, the cones are going to start to get a little bit tighter. So that's some good news for us. Now, some other changes that they're making. This last year was an experimental graphic, but now it is going to become a graphic that they issue all the time with these storms. And basically this tells us the most likely arrival time of tropical storm force winds in excess of 39 miles per hour. And another thing that they're changing for next year, there are watches and warnings. They will issue them now 72 hours in advance, not 48 hours in advance. And why is this important? Because now if we do get a hurricane warning a day earlier, you now have an extra day to prepare and an extra day to put up your storm shutters. So all good news for those of us living here in South Florida.
Indeed.